Welcome to San Diego Market Movers. I'm your host, Therese, and I have Lindsey here with me today, back in the studio again.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. And we were just chatting about a topic that I think is really important for buyers out there that are looking to work with an agent. Having that relationship be solid with your agent is so important because, like we just talked about, the process of the transaction can be stressful. So if you don't have that in stone, things can get really messy and frustrating. So what is your perspective on that? What are some challenges that you have dealt with in the past with agents? Tell me a little bit about that.
So it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic. I'm glad you brought this up. Thank you. Because oftentimes we don't know our clients super well. We might have met them at an open house, or it's a referral from a previous client. And so you don't have that depth of trust that you would have if you were like showing houses to your bestie. And so they want to use you because they respect you and they think that you'll do a good job, but they don't like necessarily think that you're on their team. That's something that you have to earn over time. And by the end of the transaction, we definitely have formed that bond, but it puts us back a step to not have that full transparency and to really be on the same team in the beginning, because when I go to write as an agent, I'm going to bat for you. And if I don't know everything, good, bad, skeletons, not, your true desirability, your motivation behind buying the property, I'm at a deficit with the seller's agent because I can get caught on my words, or I can find out later that I was misleading the transaction, and that puts me in a bad bind, because if I'm trying to make sure this is a really smooth and seamless transaction, when you have to constantly rework what's going on, what ends up happening is that you just get tension on both sides of the table, and then buying a home is already stressful enough. So to add that added amount of tension where you're like doing notices to perform and you're asking all these hard questions, it just makes the whole experience more complicated than it needs to be.
Absolutely. And I feel like because you've experienced this, you kind of know that finding out all the information that you possibly can is what really makes that transaction go smoothly. And when you don't have that information, you're kind of going in a little bit blind.
Yes.
Like, okay, I'm doing the best that I can. So you're not actually able to serve them at the utmost capacity that you could if you had that information.
Correct. And most of the time it comes with lending, because they pick me as the person that's going to help them find their house, and then they have their lender who's going to help them buy the house. And in their mind, they're like two different camps. But really, we're all on the same team, headed the same direction, trying to purchase this property. And so I always talk with the lender and make sure that everything's squared away. But sometimes, even still, I'm once again having to build that relationship of trust with that lender. And so sometimes I'm not given all of the pieces of the puzzle, and that's when it gets really messy.
And nobody wants things to get messy when they're purchasing a home.
No, because especially the longer you go in a transaction, the more committed and the increased desire of actually closing on that home. You start dreaming and picturing yourself moving in. And so when things start getting dicey, then it becomes that much more emotional, because you've already like pictured where your blender's going to go in the kitchen.
Yeah. And Lindsey, my experience of you as an agent is that you really hustle for your clients. Like,
Yes.
you go and I'm not just saying that, you go above and beyond. You're like, okay, I want to dot all the I's, cross all the T's. Like, I want to know everything. I want to do the best that I can for you. And so having a client be absolutely open with you really helps you do that.
Totally. Because oftentimes I might have someone better suited for whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. For instance, recently we had a deal and it was going to be, funded this way. And after we got in there, I was like, really, we should choose this avenue instead. This is a better product for you. And if I would have known that, we could have pivoted a little sooner. So I'm really on their team. Like, I am on their team. I will do what needs to be done. I will jump through the hoops. I will take the time. I just need to know all the facts.
I love it. Well, if you are a buyer and you're really looking for somebody who's transparent, real, and gets the job done, I know that you're the person to reach out to. Thank you so much for coming in today,
Thank
Lindsey.
you for having me.
Of course.